Hello everyone, welcome back. Okay, here's our next speaker. She is one of my teenage years hero. She is a writer, gamer, architect, editor, and mostly important for me, creator of the famous column Rüya Tamirleri in Oyungezer. Here she comes, Serpil Uluturk.
Thank you very much. First of all, I should say I'm a shoegazer, so forgive me if I mess things up. Have you ever heard of the story about a guy who traded his one red paper clip to own a house? This red paper clip I'm talking about. Kyle MacDonald, the guy from Vancouver, Canada, decided to go ahead and trade his way up a red paper clip until he owned a house. My microphone. Which was absurdly foolish for everyone except him. But he had a plan. Just set up a simple blog and put a photo of his precious red paper clip on it, and then ask the rest of the world, what do you have to trade for it? Among all the offers, the best one was, of course, not a house, but a simple fish-shaped pen. Kyle accepted it, and then asked again, what do you have to trade for this beautiful fish pen? And then he got a doorknob and traded the doorknob for a stove, which he later traded for a red generator. Then the red generator turned into a beer keg and to a snowmobile. He traded the snowmobile for a holiday, and then the holiday for a van. He didn't stop though. The next offer was an album contract, and then someone with a dream to make an album just offered his house in Phoenix, but just for a year. The red paper clip was famous then. Tens of thousands were curious about the end of the story and sending their offers just to be a part of this story. One of those offers was a lunch with Alice Cooper, which is of course a lifetime experience, but Carl didn't hesitate and traded it too. And after 12 months of tradings, he got his house in the end with a big welcome party from his new neighborhood. And now he lives in this very house with his family. I wanted to start with this story because A, definitely the red paper clip has a more exciting story than I do. And B, it made me realize that I can too explain my story through a chain of trades. I am Serpil Uluturk. I am the editor-in-chief in Oyungezer magazine and the co-founder of its company, Seti Media. I too started my journey with something as little as a red paper clip, but I never saw the parts of my life I traded as a part of a big plan. But then I realized I traded every leap I took with the next one. I was 16 when I started to Middle East Technical University to study chemistry. And all I wanted was to learn new things. In other words, my red paper clip's name was a hunger for knowledge. But I survived for just 2 years. After getting better at English and facing the hardship of laboratory work, my hunger has gone and I felt content, so I gathered my stuff and headed for Istanbul. I came to this city to study at School of Architecture at Istanbul Technical University, but the real reason was, I think, was the charm of the city. It really attracted me. And then, while at school, I was also busy with trying to discover myself. I was searching for what I really want and what could make me happier. And with a basic instinct, actually, I was looking for my next who knows what to trade. an activist maybe, who only volunteers and cares for a better world, or a karaoke singer, hopping one bar after another, or maybe a silent DJ, only makes midnight playlists on the radio. All felt possible for me. But I ended up a journalist, working for a gaming magazine. My writing career, which started with a chain of coincidences, fit me so right that it looked like as if it could envelop my whole life. Among all the things I love to do, writing was always the closest one to the way of my existence. Something I felt when writing, it was something I felt when writing letters or notebooks, making fanzines, and going poetry contests at school, or even filling the exam papers at school. It was feeling more real than ever when I started to write in the gaming magazine. It was at times I felt lost when I don't write what I think, communicate, or dream. Meanwhile, I was spending more time at school, but the reason was not classes. We were a band of friends who all loved writing, posting poems and short stories on walls so they can be read, and on the floor so they can be walked over. But I was very determined this time not to quit the school again. Or perhaps I should say my family was very determined to that. But I did anyway. I left school without graduating, and I traded my school for my interests for the next part of my life. Let me take a break, please. All the steps I took to discover myself gave me something precious. The very steps I took thanks to knowing myself. So there will be a more conscious Serpil at the rest of this story. I can't say she's more conscious. On the contrary, she's even more brave than before. Because now I was not choosing from the options in front of me, but I was starting to create them. I believe it was valuable to reach at this point. Because if you don't take those few risks and be adventurous a little bit, it's very easy for an ordinary life to push you on its own way. If you don't ask yourself what you want to do with your life, if you don't test what you can venture, you end up being another warrior in your tribe. Look at all the trials you are put to. They're all just there to prepare you an ordinary life. You may be one who gives pride to the family, or trust to his boss, or even his seat on the bus to the elderly. You can live like that. No one will bother except you. But if what you're in the world demands you to struggle with your family, you need to be ready to do that, or lose your job, or annoy your neighbors. You need to find the strength within you to do that. When the time comes for you to pass your tribe's test, to go out in the woods all alone and spend the night there, it will feel like bravery to face the challenge, to earn the reward of coming back the next morning and taking your place among the others in your tribe. But for me, real bravery is to go out from the village that evening and just keep walking until the morning to find the next village, to see what is different there, to be don't be content what it is expected from you. You need to follow your curiosity. But you still have a tiny problem here. Probably what you will find in the next village won't be that different. What about you will need to visit. So you will need to visit other villages and meet many tribes to gather fragments of yourself. And perhaps there won't be any end of this search, And there will always be new things to learn, new things to discover, as I did with my next leap. It was 4.5 years ago when I learned the magazine I work for has been sold to a big media mogul. My life was pretty good at the time. I had a job I love and a satisfying paycheck and people I like to work with. The good thing was that acquisition would not endanger our jobs. All they were asking was just to be the smaller gears of a bigger machine. And as a matter of fact, most of our colleagues have accepted it and transferred to the new company. But for me and for my two partners, it was not that easy. Working for a big media mogul, becoming their stereotype employee, instead of working with joy and passion, sounded like a nightmare. It looked like we had only two options to choose from. First one is transfer with the others, and the other is stop writing about games, since there were no other gaming magazines around. But we chose neither, and created a third option. It was not well advised in Turkey's business environment, and actually it was a foolish idea, just like what Kyle did with his red paper clip. And indeed, it was a big trade-off. We traded our comfort zone to be able to do our work with joy, able to do our work in our own way. We decided to publish our own magazine despite all the risks. But I think to make changes in your life, to take in a leap, just lies here. The first thing you need to be ready is to leave your comfort zones. It doesn't matter how big your leap is. You may be ending your long-term relationship or quitting your school, or maybe the idea is changing the whole world. I don't know. If you ask me, the moment of leap is when you take action without being sure of the results, when you risk all the way of your living. It is a leap you need to take. Many people will be saying that it is the wrong thing to do and you are doing a big mistake, which is good, because it indicates that you are on the right way. But when we traded our comfort zone for a job we desire, taking so many risks, we had a huge advantage. We were surrounded by many young people who haven't tasted the numbing poison of conformism. Our readers, who have been reading us for years with a strong bond, and our loyal writers encouraged us more than anyone. Sorry. They were even more eager than us to take this journey. In only 2 months, we had to go through all the legal procedures, rent an office, and find paper, a publishing house, and a distribution for our magazine. But the hardest part was naming it, and thanks to our readers, it won't be a problem. They just gave us the name. So we started publishing Oyungezer without knowing what the results may be. To know if it will survive or die, we had to wait for about a month to see the sales numbers, and believe me, it was the happiest and the restless days of my life. The result? Yes, we did it. Oyungezer started off better than we expected, and with no marketing at all, since we didn't have any money left to spend on it. It was a success story for publishing business, and but for us, it was clearly a leap of faith. If I didn't die of unease on those days, it was just thanks to something Tuba kept saying. We may lose it all, but it will be something beautiful to look back to, saying, thank God we tried it. Indeed, it was beautiful, and it's totally worth it. Yes, all those things I've been through gave me something, gave me a story I love to tell. But still, I can't advise you to change your whole life. I can say, close your eyes, open your heart, and walk towards to the edge of a cliff. There are two reasons to that. As I was trying to say since the beginning, without discovering yourself, without a dream that takes you away, you don't need any leap. And the second one, and which is more important for me, the story I've been telling you is mostly belongs to the last century. When you were limited in, those were the times when you were limited in what you can do, what you can share with the rest of the world. Blogging was a city in China, and social networking was just bumping into friends while you're walking through Istiklal Street. The world was much, much bigger then, and being heard was very difficult. Today, you have the chance to reach more people in a day, than I was able to do for years, maybe. And all you have to do is just sitting in front of your computer. Maybe you don't have to quit your school or your day job or disappoint your family now. Because we are in an age where everyone can become anything. The problem is here, there's so many everyone and so much everything. It's perhaps even harder to find who you really are. Maybe there is no need to take any more job. In the century, all of you can be a photographer, a director, an author, and if you can't be any of it, be a celebrity. And you don't need to forsake your 9-to-6 job or your 30 hours of class every week. But it's horrifying to be able to become all of it. What you will see in the end of the day, when you look at yourself in the mirror, are you a jack of all trades or some jerk of no trades? It's another question no one can answer but you. Let's finish with a quote from my TED hero, Sir Karen Robinson. Life is not linear, it's organic. We create our lives symbiotically as we explore our talents in relation to the circumstances they help to create us. Thank you very much.